Thanks for you small handful for staying till the bitter end. Basically, we have a drug-free wearable solution for chronic pain, providing deep relaxation on demand. The main market we're going after at the moment is the US market. 100 million people in chronic pain, 60 million of those particularly that we're going after. I'll come on to that later. We've done a study, 75-person study of device versus sham. We got a doubling of relaxation, a tripling of pain reduction. Our FDA pathway is 510K, and we're raising a Series A in third quarter of next year. So back to the start. Don't know how much this translates over here, but in the US, more than 72,000 people died from opioid overdose last year. 4/5 of that started on prescription opioids. In America, this is a very big problem. The problem globally is that there is no good treatment for chronic pain. Nothing essentially works. You can dose people with pills, but all you're doing with the pills is you're actually masking the problem. So painkillers don't actually kill pain per se, they just mask it. So when you take opioids, for example, it's leaving you within fight-flight. I've just come from Hong Kong where the term fight-flight did not work at all. So it's basically when you have a very large amount of adrenaline in your body, when your body's preparing to fight or run away from a particular stressor, pain triggers fight-flight. So everything in your body becomes more sensitive to more pain that you have. So when you come off opioids, your body's been stuck in fight-flight for a long time, hence why you have opioid withdrawal problems. Anyway, how do I know about this stuff? Well, this is me in the Yemen in 1992. A couple of hours after that photo was taken, I was forced to drive that Jeep off a bridge to avoid a head-on collision next to a petrol truck. That ended in spinal injuries, which gave me a nerve damage pain problem that was so severe I was given a 5-year life expectancy. So I was given standard of care treatment, which is very large amounts of opioids. Very quickly I became resistant to morphine, so it wasn't even killing any pain. So my choices were find a better solution or carry on popping pills till I died. I went looking for a different situation and a different alternative. And what I came up with was a neuromodulation device that uses pulsed light and pulsed sound and a feedback loop to tailor that to each individual. And this is the device here. So you can see you're actually getting pulsed light through closed eyes. The sensor is on the forehead, and we're using heart rate variability as the metric to determine how well the device is working and how to optimize it. We're getting people to a deep state of relaxation and lower pain in about 10 minutes. This is part of how it works. This is an EEG of someone before and after using the device. Left-hand picture, you can see the difference between the left-hand side of that person's brain and the right-hand side of the person's brain in terms of electrical output. And that is from someone with traumatic brain injury, which causes the worst kind of chronic pain. And on the right, you can see that's been balanced, and that correlates with much less pain. So once you've got that hemispheric balance, you're able to get someone into rest and recovery. So this is one of our first patients here in the UK, chronic regional pain syndrome. If those of you haven't come across it, it's basically intense pain in your limbs, usually it's arms, and it's surface pain. So even the slightest touch from a piece of clothing can cause extreme pain. Hattie hadn't been able to wear anything on her arms or bear any touch for 3 years. And that stopped her going to school. First time she used a device, she cried in relief because she was able to touch her arm for the first time without pain in 3 years. And within a week, we had her back at school. Very large amount of anecdotal data. Then we started backing this up with this study with Stanford and Special Operations Command. Special Operations Command is the US body that is the umbrella organization of all the special forces. So those people have a very large degree of concussions, head injuries, body wear and tear. Think the most extreme rugby players in the UK, and then multiply that by 10. These guys are walking wounded even when they're at the top of their game. Again, as I said earlier, doubling relaxation, tripling a reduction in pain, and a 5x improvement in heart rate variability, which is a good measure of sleep and recovery. This summer, we've won a bunch of awards. The most important of these is the Mount Sinai rehab competition, because that means we now get to do our FDA study with Mount Sinai. And this is our principal investigator, who's one of the world's experts on the neuromodulation of pain. The study is a 120-person device versus sham, all the standard neuropathic pain endpoints that you'd expect. Depression, anxiety, and sleep problems all bound into pretty much every severe pain problem, but neuropathic pain in particular. In addition, we're getting objective endpoints, and the most important of those is the HP axis blood draw, so we're able to look at biochemistry and how that biochemistry has been changed over time by the use of the device. And we're also tracking opioid use. Anecdotally, we've seen about a 30% drop in opioids by someone having access to a device and being able to use it whenever they want to. We're getting a large amount of data collection. We've designed our app for clinical trials. So we're collecting visual analog scores of pain or anxiety before and after every device use, and then we're able to correlate with that with the objective data from the mask. So we've got an R&D platform basically for every single person who's using the device. We're going to be getting a very large amount of useful data. Regulatory pathway, we've already had our first pre-sub meeting. We're waiting to hear whether we're being accepted into the opioid challenge. But either way, we're being given an expedited review at the moment. These are some of the other areas we're looking at. Opioid withdrawal is the very first one to happen. That's starting in December. And that's basically looking at the first 5 days of severe addiction withdrawal, because that's going to be our easiest pathway through the FDA. Pricing reimbursements, there are various strategies for us, and we're working through these at the moment. But basically, at a cost of goods of $30 to make what is the now current mask at scale, we're at a minimum looking at a $30 a month subscription, and allowing doctors to be able to reimburse above that, especially in the areas like fibromyalgia and pain, where physician oversight and long-term care of patients is important. This is a team. So between us, 91 years of combined medtech experience, 27 successful exits. These are some of the companies that we've worked for. And yeah, so the Series A amount that we're going to be after is TBD, depending on the number of indications we get through this year. And in the meantime, we're going after convertible loan notes to extend the number of indications we can go through at Series A. So that's it. Over to questions of the remaining few.